Welcome back to the show, everybody. We're so glad you're here. Well, for so many of us, The Wizard of Oz is one of those formative movies from our childhood. I remember watching it on CBS every year in the 80s. Our guest today knows the whole universe of Oz, inside out, sideways, upside down, you name it, she knows it. Tori is an Oz historian and collector. She has a giant following online. That's where we found her with her Oz vlog videos, where she breaks down the latest Oz-related news. I loved talking to her a couple months ago, and I was excited to have her back. Audience, give it up for Tori, everybody. Hi, friends.
How are you? Thank you so much for having me back.
Oh, no, I was so excited to have you back, especially as, you know, we're getting nearer to Wicked for Good, which we will talk about. But we just did a story about the sphere, so I want to pick up on that because your opinion matters to me because I trust you and you have a good barometer about what's tacky, what's not, what's good for the franchise, what's not. So let me ask you, what do you say to the purists, Tori? And I know you tackled this in one of your vids. What do you say to the purists that say, "Oop, this is precious. Don't touch the film in any way"? What do you say to that?
What I say to that respectfully, and I respect people who are purists, but my personal opinion is that this film is 86 years old, and things that aren't touched and reimagined get lost to time. It's inevitable. So I'm really happy that we're seeing The Wizard of Oz in a brand new way.
What is your favorite aspect of what they're doing, what Warner Brothers is doing, what the Sphere is doing? Is it the expanding of the film on the actual screen? Is it the practical effects that you just saw from that Sunday morning profile where they're adding wind and crap is going to blow in your face? And what are you most excited for, Tori?
I'm wondering if I should bring an umbrella. You know, honestly, my favorite thing about this is that there's inevitably going to be a kid in that audience who's experiencing The Wizard of Oz for the very first time in this completely immersive way. I love that they tapped people who specialized in the recreation of classic film sound to recreate the soundtrack. They re-recorded the whole thing on the original sound stages that the actual score was recorded on. They just handled this so respectfully. I'm really excited to see the finished product.
Tori, I love people that love things big, and I said this to you when you were on our show for the first time. I have such a connection with you because I, too, was introduced to something pop culture-wise that I love. Mine's a little goofier than yours. Mine is the television show Dallas, but it means everything to me because it's connected to my grandma Mazak, and you have a similar thing. You were introduced to The Wizard of Oz by your grandma. So let me ask you, with all of that in mind, are you going to be an emotional wreck when you see this at the Sphere?
Well, your audience is hearing it first. I've actually been invited to the premiere of the Sphere.
Yes!
And
you should be, Tori!
And
I'm
bringing my mom on her first red carpet. So we're going to enjoy this together, and I couldn't be happier.
Are you prepared for what you're going to feel?
No.
Yeah. I think about you. Like, I can't wait to see it myself. I really have you in the back of my mind because, again, I feel this connection with you. I'm excited for you to see this.
It's honestly an honor to be included in these things, but to experience The Wizard of Oz in a way that I never have before, and that's saying something because I've seen it in pretty much every format imaginable. It's really special to go into an immersive space like this and see what the artists have done here.
Yeah. We're going to talk about Wicked for Good in the next segment, but I want to ask you, again, you tackled this in a video that I loved. Do you think we're going, because we're kind of in, you call it what, the Ozassance? Or no, what do you call it, Tori?
Yes, we're in the midst of an Ozassance.
Yes. Do you think, because there are what, 15 books in the Baum, how many books, Tori, in the whole catalog?
There are 14 novels that L. Frank Baum originally wrote, with a book of short stories as well. There are now over 40 Oz books in the canon, and I hope that every single one of them someday makes it to your screens at home.
Yeah. Is that what you're holding up right there? That's an original, right, Tori?
This is a first edition second state of L. Frank Baum's The Wonderful Wizard of Oz, which was published in 1900 and started absolutely all of this.
I can't believe that. Is there, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but you can do this, if anyone can do this. Is there one of the stories? Oh, I just thought of this. I really want to know your opinion on this. Is there a story, is there one of the 14 books that you think would click with modern audiences?
I think the Emerald City of Oz is ready for a film adaptation. And I don't want to spoil it, but let's just say a certain girl from Kansas and her family make their way to Oz. And I think audiences would love it.
Oh, okay. Now I want to read that one. Okay. Speaking of that little girl from Kansas, Dorothy does have something to do with the upcoming sequel to Wicked. But how much will we see, Dorothy? More Wicked for Good talk with Tori when we come back. Back in a moment, everybody. I love her.
Let's make it.
We are following the yellow brick road today. We're in an Ozassance here on the show. Our special guest today is Tori from the Oz vlog. I'll tell you how to follow her at the very end, but you'll love it. It's just delightful. Tori, let's move on now to Wicked for Good, because the Ozassance is obviously happening because of Wicked the movie and just the avalanche of stuff we're getting. Let's talk part 2 and that little girl from Kansas. As you know, in the Broadway show, Dorothy isn't in it a lot. Your opinion, your thoughts, because we haven't seen it yet. Do you think director John will add Dorothy more to the movie?
I think it's inevitable, as we are now in a different medium. On stage, you can imply a lot. You don't have to show everything. On film, it's a very visual medium, and you're kind of required to show more. I really think they're going to keep Dorothy quite mysterious. But if you've read the Wicked novel, you know that Dorothy has full-blown conversations and interactions with the characters that we know and love from Wicked the musical. So can they introduce more of her? Yes. Will they? It remains to be seen.
One of my favorite things, and I encourage people to will follow you for many reasons, is when because I think you're doing a service, people don't, and why would they? You know, if they're not a big fan, why would they? You explain to folks when people come to you with inconsistencies of, well, they did this and this and this in The Wizard of Oz, why isn't this not matching up with the continuity of plot in Wicked? Can you kind of describe how they're in the same universe, but not really?
So Wicked, The Life and Times of the Wicked Witch of the West by Gregory Maguire is kind of an amalgamation of being based in L. Frank Baum's universe and the 1939 film universe, because of course the witch in the book is not green and he brought that element in. So when I explain the different canons, you kind of have to compartmentalize, but if you want a more streamlined canon, I like to say to people that The Wizard of Oz is the propaganda version of the story and Wicked is the real story.
I like that, actually, because there are things that don't line up between the two, like especially with the main characters, right?
Absolutely. And you know, those canons for me, I'm so used to this as an Oz fan because with 125 years of adaptations, there's all kind of canonical mismatch. So we've become very accustomed to just compartmentalizing and treating everything as its own thing. But no, the stories don't perfectly align, but I think they align close enough where Oz fans and Wicked fans will be satisfied.
Tori, for those of you watching, for those folks watching that are only familiar with Wicked because they saw the movie last year, what should they, part 2 or act 2 in the musical is very different tonally than act 1. What should people prepare for Wicked for Good?
You know, John Chu started to prepare the audience by explaining that part 1 was about choices and part 2 is about consequences. You should be prepared for a lot of tonal difference. You're moving into a very dark phase of the history of Oz, a very dark moment. So this is not going to be as whimsical as part 1. There's going to be a lot of angst and dark stuff.
In that one, yeah. Your backdrop obviously is your collection. What's off the top of your head, because I'm a collector too, I like stuff like that. What's some of your favorite items that you have that you've collected over the years, Tori?
Well, of course, my first edition is definitely up there. And I mentioned that snow globe that my grandmother gave me for my 9th birthday, which is one of my most sentimentally treasured pieces. If you look behind me, I have some of the things from the 1939 film here, including a doll that is signed by the Wicked Witch of the West herself, Margaret Hamilton.
Oh my goodness. And really quick, I love, you are also a fan of like a cult classic, The Return to Oz. When you're a big advocate of that movie. Disney, guys, if you don't know, made a sequel in the early 80s. You're a big fan of that movie.
I think in terms of adaptations of Baum's novels, it's one of the closest tonally to his books. They definitely went a little darker. You know, a lot of those 1980s films were nightmare fuel for kids.
Yeah.
But I think they did a lovely job interpreting the text, and everyone who hasn't seen it yet should go to Disney Plus and give it a watch.
I mean this sincerely. I'll end how I began. I am so excited for you. I will be thinking of you at the premiere. I'm glad they invited you because nobody deserves to be there more other than the filmmaker. So have the best time and be in the moment and take it all in. Thank you, Tori.
Thank you so much.
Be sure to follow Tori on social media. Just search for the Oz Vlog on TikTok and Instagram. It's a good follow. It'll bring you joy. We'll be right back, everybody. Back in a moment. Oh, she's lovely.